Wealth, my friend, is not the glittering gold displayed in the open, but the silent power that grows in the shadows. The fool seeks to be seen as rich, the wise becomes rich unseen. To move unseen among the greedy is to possess a weapon greater than money itself, invisibility. When men know of your fortune, they begin to calculate how to extract it from you, through praise, deceit, or alliance. The first rule of true wealth, therefore, is secrecy. The rich who boast are already poor in spirit, for they have traded the protection of silence for the vanity of admiration. A man who wishes to grow his fortune must first master the art of appearing ordinary. Let others underestimate you. It is safer to be ignored than envied. The second rule: appear harmless while you build power in silence. Let your outward life seem modest, your speech restrained, and your actions patient. The crowd chases attention as if it were oxygen, but attention is the spark that burns fortunes before they mature. When your wealth grows in the dark, no enemy can attack what they cannot see. The third rule is discipline, not of money, but of desire. Most men ruin their wealth before they even possess it because they are slaves to pleasure. They believe the rich life means indulgence, yet indulgence is the very disease that prevents lasting power. The man who can deny himself comfort today gains the strength to buy empires tomorrow. To control your appetite is to command the flow of your gold. The fourth rule: invest in what multiplies silently. The loud ventures attract attention, the quiet ones compound. Real wealth is not built in the marketplace of noise, but in the vault of patience. Invest in what cannot be easily flaunted. Land ideas, influence, and control. The man who owns silence owns stability. The fifth rule: detach emotion from money. Treat it as a servant, never as a lover. The emotional investor always falls prey to fear and greed, the two wolves that eat every fortune from within. Move like a strategist, not a gambler. To win unseen, you must think like one who plays a game whose rules only you understand. You see, riches are not measured in gold but in control. Control over yourself, your resources, and the perceptions of others. If the world does not know your true position, it cannot attack you. If they think you are poor, you are free. Freedom is the crown the unseen rich wear proudly, while the publicly wealthy lie chained to their image. To be truly rich, hide your abundance behind simplicity, your strategy behind silence, and your intentions behind a mask of indifference. Then, and only then, can you rule the game without ever appearing to play it. Wealth, my friend, is not a performance, it is a quiet war. The battlefield is not filled with swords, but with minds. Most people believe riches are meant to be displayed: a mansion, a car, a glittering watch. But that is the illusion of the weak. The moment you show your wealth, you place a target upon yourself. You invite envy, theft, and manipulation. The first true rule of power, therefore, is concealment. What no one sees, no one can destroy. To get rich without anyone knowing is to possess the kind of power that kings fear and beggars will never understand. The wise man learns to live below suspicion. He walks among the ordinary, speaks with humility, and never competes for attention. Let fools chase recognition, you chase results. The one who appears poor commands freedom. No beggar will ask him for coins, no rival will plot against him, and no authority will see reason to restrain him. The invisible man can move mountains without raising a whisper. To appear harmless is the most dangerous disguise of all. You must also conquer your own vanity, for that is the enemy within. Many men fall not because others attack them, but because their own pride betrays them. The need to be admired drives them to reveal what should remain hidden. Remember, admiration is the tax the fool pays for being seen. The truly rich prefer silence to applause, for applause feeds the ego but starves the empire. Control over desire is the next fortress. The man who cannot deny himself luxury becomes its slave. He spends to impress, he flaunts to be envied, and in doing so, he becomes predictable, easy prey for the cunning. True power grows when your desires are disciplined. Every coin saved from vanity becomes a soldier in your hidden army of wealth. Build your fortune quietly. In shadows, through patience, through strategy. Invest in things that grow without spectacle: land, influence, knowledge, ownership. Let others gamble in the open while you multiply in the dark. When your roots are deep, no storm can expose you. And above all, remember, wealth is not about the shine of gold, but the depth of control. When no one knows your power, they cannot challenge it. When no one sees your riches, they cannot touch them. The invisible rich man commands life with the calm of a ghost. Unseen, untouchable, unstoppable. Understand this: wealth is not only earned, it is gathered, guarded, and grown in layers unseen. Those who parade their riches are like lambs dancing before wolves, unaware that the world watches with hunger. The sixth rule of hidden wealth: never let anyone know the full extent of what you possess. Keep multiple faces, one for the world, one for your allies, and one for yourself. The greatest fortunes are built upon deception, not of malice but of survival. To reveal everything you own is to hand others the weapon to destroy you. You must create illusions of limits. Let them think you have less than you do. A man who appears modest disarms suspicion. He walks among the greedy as a ghost among the living. When you are invisible, you are untouchable. You can move money, build influence, and manipulate outcomes while others fight for applause. The seventh rule: turn knowledge into currency. Most chase money, but the powerful trade in information. Money can be stolen, taxed, or inflated into dust, but knowledge, once mastered, generates endless profit. Study what others ignore. Understand the patterns of human weakness, the pulse of markets, the art of persuasion. Wealth gravitates toward those who can see what others refuse to notice. Rule 8: diversify not only your investments, but your identities. Have multiple streams of income and multiple masks to protect them. When one source is attacked, the others survive. Never let your empire depend on one pillar, for enemies aim at the single visible point of strength. Spread your influence so subtly that even if they destroy your name, your wealth remains untouched, hidden under other names, other hands, other systems. Rule 9: use generosity as camouflage. Give when it benefits you, but always strategically. A gift disarms suspicion and creates loyalty. The truly cunning appear selfless while consolidating control. Men lower their guard for those who seem kind, and through their gratitude, they open doors you could never force open yourself. The man who desires secret wealth must not only hide his gold, but control the perceptions around him. Appear humble, charitable, and ordinary, yet beneath this mask, your mind must calculate like an emperor planning his dynasty. Wealth without power is a fleeting breeze, but power hidden within modesty becomes eternal. So move silently through life. Let your possessions be unseen, your strategies unreadable, and your ambitions misunderstood. Those who speak of their riches are already losing them. The world applauds visibility, but the wise know the richest man in any room is often the one no one notices. Wealth, when hidden, must be guarded like a secret map that only you can read. To get rich without anyone knowing, you must understand that the world feeds on appearances, and appearances can be your greatest shield. The fool believes that showing success earns respect, but in truth, it invites enemies disguised as friends. To survive in a world driven by greed, one must build in silence and master the art of deception, not for cruelty, but for protection. The less people know, the more power you hold. Never let anyone see the full measure of your resources. Even your closest allies should know only fragments of your truth. Secrecy multiplies strength. A man who seems modest invites no jealousy, while a man who flaunts wealth awakens silent hatred. Remember, the world does not hate the poor. It envies the rising. The richest among us are often invisible because they understand that visibility is vulnerability. Let them think you have little, and you will walk safely among wolves. Knowledge is your real currency. The man who understands systems, psychology, and timing can turn knowledge into gold while others chase luck. Study human nature, the weaknesses of markets, and the hidden motives behind power. The one who sees before others do not need to shout. He acts while others are still wondering what happened. Money can vanish in a night, but understanding can rebuild it by dawn. Diversify not only your wealth but your presence. A single identity is a single point of attack. Spread your assets in layers, different accounts, different names, different nations if possible. Create separation between yourself and your fortune so that no one can trace the full picture. The world cannot steal what it cannot find. And then there is generosity, a subtle weapon disguised as virtue. When used wisely, it blinds others to your true intentions. Give small when necessary, and it will hide how much you truly possess. A modest act of charity disarms suspicion, builds loyalty, and earns you protection in the hearts of others. The true art of hidden wealth lies in misdirection, letting others see shadows while you move in light. You are not to be known as the rich man, but the quiet one who never seems to lose. In a world that measures worth by attention, you will build an empire that no one can name, yet all will unknowingly serve. Power must be built as carefully as a fortress, not announced, but fortified layer by layer. To keep wealth invisible, one must first master the art of indirect control. Influence others to act in your favor without realizing it. Let others think they are leading while they move in directions you have already charted. The truly rich command through whispers, not orders. Silence in the pursuit of wealth is worth more than diamonds. Speak only when your words serve your gain. Each time you reveal your plans, you dilute your strength. The secret empire thrives on misdirection. When others think you are idle, you are building. When they believe you are losing, you are positioning. When they assume you are weak, you are ready to strike. Be wary of company. The poor cling to friendship, the wise form alliances. Every man you allow close must serve a purpose. Trust is a luxury only the knave can afford. The wealthy unseen build networks that work for them unknowingly. Through influence, they control outcomes while remaining invisible behind layers of delegation. The fool believes wealth is freedom. But wealth without secrecy is a prison. You become enslaved to the expectations of others, family, friends, and parasites who will not rest until they have consumed your fortune. Guard your success as you would a crown. Never explain your gains. Let others guess, and their confusion will protect you. Learn the value of disguise. Appear modest in success and even weaker in defeat. This creates a fog around your true power. Those who underestimate you cannot plan against you. The predator who hides his claws lives longer than the one who shows them. To accumulate wealth without exposure requires patience bordering on ruthlessness. Do not chase quick riches. They come with loud noise and short lives. Build slowly, quietly, through patience and control. It is better to earn a single hidden empire than to hold 1,000 visible coins. The visible fortune invites envy. The invisible one commands peace. And remember this truth: in a world obsessed with appearances, invisibility is the ultimate luxury. When your wealth cannot be traced, your freedom cannot be taken. The silent rich man moves like a shadow through chaos, unseen, unbothered, untouched. Power built in silence is the most durable form of wealth. The visible rich man depends on reputation. The invisible one depends on control. To grow rich without anyone knowing, you must master the subtle art of influence, guiding outcomes without ever appearing to hold the reins. Let others believe they are in charge while you quietly shape their decisions. True power is not in commanding, but in making others act in your interest without realizing it. Influence is the invisible currency that buys obedience without cost. Never reveal your strategy. The moment your plans become known, they can be used against you. Speak less than you know, and when you speak, speak vaguely. Let people guess your motives and intentions, for uncertainty paralyzes them. The wise man lets rumors guard his truth. When they believe they've figured you out, change direction. Confusion is protection. Be careful whom you allow near your wealth. Friendship, in the world of money, often becomes a disguise for dependence. The emotional man shares secrets. The strategic one observes silently. Build alliances that serve mutual benefit, but never equality. Equality breeds rivalry, and rivalry breeds exposure. Let every man around you need you more than you need him. Dependence is the invisible chain that binds loyalty without force. Wealth, when visible, attracts leeches, family, partners, and opportunists who feed on your success. The wise protect themselves through detachment. You owe no explanation for your gains, no proof of your worth. Let others guess how you prosper. Their curiosity keeps them occupied while you keep working. The fewer who understand your methods, the longer you can keep winning. Learn to use defeat as a disguise. When you appear to lose, the world relaxes its guard. You can maneuver freely, rebuild silently, and strike when least expected. A false weakness can be the greatest strength, for it blinds even the cleverest rivals. The predator who hides his claws outlives the one who flaunts them. Patience is your greatest weapon. The road to hidden wealth is not paved with luck, but with discipline and endurance. Avoid loud victories, they draw attention. Quiet progress compounds unseen. Remember, the world cannot destroy what it cannot detect. The man who builds slowly, in silence, will one day hold power so great that even kings will serve him, without knowing who he truly is. A man who hides his wealth must also master the psychology of perception. The masses believe what they see, therefore, give them something harmless to see. Let your image serve as a decoy. While they fix their gaze on your apparent modesty, your true fortune multiplies beyond their imagination. Invest in intellect more than assets. The market can collapse, the empire can fall, but the mind that understands human nature will always rebuild. Wealth hidden in the mind cannot be stolen. The wise build invisible empires within their knowledge, networks of influence, foresight, and control that no thief can reach. Surround yourself with useful people, but never equals. Equality breeds competition, superiority breeds control. Keep your circle limited and layered. The inner circle must know little of your true intentions. Keep your motives fragmented so no one person holds the full map of your empire. Divide knowledge, and you will divide power. Control your image, your speech, your silence. A careless word reveals more than a confession. The truly strategic man uses vagueness as a shield. Let rumors serve as your sword. They spread confusion and cloak your truth. The moment people think they understand you, they will seek to destroy you. The unknown is your strongest armor. There is also a spiritual rule to hidden wealth. Detach your ego from possession. The desire to be admired is the downfall of many rich men. The applause of the crowd is poison disguised as pleasure. Seek satisfaction not in being seen, but in being untouchable. Understand the paradox. To rule the visible world, one must live in the invisible. When you no longer crave validation, you command the stage from behind the curtain. Let others chase fame while you purchase silence, control, and time, the only currencies that never depreciate. Your wealth, therefore, must become an instrument of quiet dominance. The unseen rich man influences the market, dictates the flow of opportunity, and shapes the fate of others, yet no one can name him. That, my friend, is true sovereignty. The man who seeks to grow rich without being seen must master not only strategy, but perception. Wealth begins in the mind long before it appears in the material world. Most men build their fortunes for the eyes of others. They crave validation, applause, envy. But the intelligent few understand that perception is both a weapon and a shield. Control how you are seen, and you control how others treat you. Appear simple, live modestly, and speak as though you have little. Let your humility become your armor. The masses judge by appearances, so give them the appearance that keeps you safe. Your public image should be a deliberate illusion. Let people see what you choose, not what is true. When they think you are harmless, they will not fear you. When they think you are struggling, they will not envy you. Conceal your victories beneath the cloak of normalcy. Let your wealth work quietly in the shadows, while your appearance misleads the curious. The man who hides behind ordinariness commands the freedom to act without resistance. Invest first in intellect, for knowledge is the only fortress that cannot be taken. Fortunes crumble, markets collapse, but the mind trained in human nature and opportunity can rebuild endlessly. Study how people desire, how they think, how they betray. The one who understands motives can predict movements, and prediction, my friend, is the root of all profit. When you can read people, you can own them, even without their awareness. Surround yourself with those who serve your purpose, not your emotions. Companionship should never be without calculation. Build circles within circles, each person knowing only what benefits them. Give pieces of the truth, but never the whole. The fewer who see your design, the less it can be destroyed. Divide knowledge like you divide power. In fragments, it is harmless. Restrain your tongue. Even silence can be a form of command. Speak less than you know, and when you must speak, let your words conceal more than they reveal. Mystery amplifies strength. When people cannot predict you, they cannot prepare for you. Finally, understand the greatest discipline of all: detachment from recognition. The need to be admired is the last chain that binds powerful men. When you no longer crave praise, you rule unseen. The world bows to the loud for a moment, but it serves the silent forever. The final lesson: wealth, when hidden, becomes power. When displayed, becomes danger. Every great empire that fell began with arrogance, the desire to be admired for its splendor. Pride exposes, exposure weakens. Weakness invites attack. Build your wealth as a shadow builds its form, always present, never graspable. Let your fortune serve you, not define you. Own luxuries, but let them be your secret. Drive the ordinary, dress simply, speak humbly. While others waste gold to appear royal, you must use silence to become untouchable. Do not measure success by what others see. Measure it by how little they know. The quiet king does not need a crown to rule. He governs from the dark while others fight for light. Every unseen move of yours will create visible consequences in the lives of those who never suspected you. Never forget that the world's richest men are often its most misunderstood. Not because they are invisible, but because their game is played at a level the visible cannot comprehend. The man who hides his power ensures it endures. The man who flaunts it prepares his own fall. The ultimate freedom is not in having more, but in being known less. When no one knows your reach, you can move without resistance. You can buy influence, command loyalty, and rewrite outcomes, all while appearing harmless. That is the perfection of wealth in visible influence. So learn the laws of concealment, the strength of subtlety, and the empire of patience. The world rewards the loud for a moment, but serves the silent forever. Let the fools display their gold. You will own the mine that produced it. To be rich without anyone knowing is the highest art of power. It is not just about possession. It is about invisibility, control, and wisdom. When your enemies cannot measure you, they cannot destroy you. When the world cannot see your throne, you reign without fear. The final and greatest secret of wealth is silence. The louder your success, the shorter its life. The man who boasts of his fortune builds his own prison. The man who hides it builds his freedom. Every public empire falls to envy, politics, or pride. Every hidden one endures, because no one knows where to strike. If you wish to stay rich without anyone knowing, you must love the shadows more than the light. What grows unseen cannot be uprooted. Power, when displayed, provokes resistance. Power, when hidden, governs effortlessly. You must understand that secrecy is not weakness, it is armor. Let others measure their worth by what the world sees. You will measure yours by what the world cannot touch. The moment people can define you, they can destroy you. When they cannot, they are left chasing shadows while you quietly rule from behind the curtain. Live simply, appear modest. Let your luxury exist in silence, in freedom, not display. The man who wears his wealth on his wrist is owned by it. The one who hides it in his mind owns the world. Be unseen, and you will be unrestricted. You will move where others cannot, make decisions no one questions, and build wealth no one competes for. When they underestimate you, you have already won. Never measure success through the eyes of others. Measure it through control. Control of your time, your emotions, your privacy. When your fortune is invisible, your life becomes untouchable. You owe explanations to no one, answers to no critics, and appearances to no crowd. That is true wealth, to live as you please, without scrutiny or dependence. Let your victories be quiet. Let your power be subtle. Influence does not need to shout, it whispers and the world obeys. The visible rich man is surrounded by noise. Advisors, opportunists, false friends. The invisible rich man is surrounded only by peace. In the end, remember, the highest art of wealth is invisibility. It is not about how much gold you hold, but how little the world knows of it. When they cannot see your crown, they cannot take your head. Move silently, build patiently, rule unseen. The richest man in the world is the one whose fortune no one suspects, because his power lies not in what he shows, but in what he hides. Move silently, build secretly, rule invisibly. That is how true wealth is born, not in the applause of men, but in the silence of mastery.